Your face is beautiful, and your eyes are like the stars. Your gentle hands are feelings, they're inside the scars. Your loving arms that draw me near, and your smile it brings me pain. Draw me closer, oh my Lord, draw me closer, Lord, to thee. Captivate us, Lord Jesus, and set our eyes on you. Devastate us with your presence of falling down. Rushing river, draw us nearer. Holy fountain, consume us with you. And captivate us, Lord Jesus, with you.
We shall now begin our program. The chairs are yet to be filled. However, just now in a conversation, our special guest just said there are not many of us, but we represent 1,000. So we will now begin our program. The journey of Nagaland's press and news media over the past 3 decades has been a remarkable evolution, ladies and gentlemen. From cottage journalism to a dynamic media industry encompassing print, broadcast, and digital platforms, we have come not just a long way, we have overcome much along the way. Emerging in the late 20th century with modest newsletters and local journals, Nagaland's media scene initially focused on community-driven reporting and cultural preservation. As literacy rates improved and political awareness grew, local newspapers from the Our Milan to Nagaland Post to Nagaland Page and from Eastern Mirror to the Morung Express to Hornbill TV, our space has gained prominence, and along with it, the numerous battles and victories. It is at this juncture we have been blessed with a momentous event where we have yet again been given rest and also a time to introspect how our journalism decades have been and where it will be in the future. I, your chairperson of the program, Kekresenyo Kyogo, greet you with wishes of prosperity, growth and success as the Dimapur Press Club celebrates a momentous 25th anniversary.
25 years ago, 1999, I was in school that time. I was a schoolboy. I had no idea that a body called the Dimapur Press Club was taking shape. As fate would have it, I stand here today as the president of that very club, welcome you all to a function celebrating the silver jubilee of that same club. What a privilege it is for me to be the welcome address at the 25th anniversary, especially welcoming two personalities. I welcome the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. I also welcome the team speaker, Yermian Arthur Yome. It was on short notice but they consented without batting an eyelid to be with us today. I thank you both once again. I, on behalf of the Dimapur Press Club, welcome our special guest of the day, the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Sharingayan Longkamer, who I believe needs no introduction. As the Speaker for the second term, we have witnessed the dignity and fortitude with which he has conducted the proceedings of the highest decision-making body of the state over the past 4 to 5 years. A role model legislator, I should say. and a speaker who conducts the house with the poise and finesse of a music conductor. We are also deeply honored to have Yermian Arthur Yome as the theme speaker. Some of us here may not know, but our guest speaker has over 20 years of experience in the media field. She is currently the Deputy News Director, Asia Pacific for the Associated Press, overseeing the photography and storytelling division in over 50 countries. The Associated Press is the one that we know as AP, or is famously known as AP, and is regarded as one of the oldest and largest news agencies in the world today. I see familiar faces. We have the Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Dino Chongsi Chang, the District Public Relations Officer, Mr. Stephen Muli. I also see former members of the DPC. I see former President Matthew Rongmai, and I also see Francis Kikon, and there's Along Longkamer. He is the former General Secretary of the Dimapur Press Club. He also was the first editor of the Morong Express. There is the publisher and editor of the Jeremium, Mr. K. Thamchan Jamir. We have other guests on the way. I believe they'll reach. Warm greetings and welcome to you all. The Dimapur Press Club owes its existence to the vision and hard work of our past and present members. Well, sorry. I forgot to acknowledge the presence of Madam Mona Lisa, the editor and publisher of Nagaland Face. Welcome, ma'am. So, Dimapur Press Club owes its existence to the vision and hard work of our past and present members. This club took shape at a time when Nagaland was testing the waters of a newfound peace or normalcy, as we would love to call it. And I can only imagine how the people who have passed through the doors of the DPC, some of whom have passed on, may have shaped the news, views, as well as its social and political narrative in a post-ceasefire era. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the pioneering members, to all the presidents who led this organization, and to all the members, the journalists working today, who have contributed to the shaping of the landscape that we proudly call Nagaland. 25 years, that's a quarter of a century. That is a long time in a human's life. Today, as we gather here under the theme, Harnessing Media Vibrancy, Embracing New Frontiers, we not only look back on our past, but also look forward to what lies ahead. The Jubilee theme we have chosen resonates with the current challenges and opportunities facing our profession. As we are aware, the playground is evolving and changing rapidly, and it is up to us how we adapt and redefine the news that we seek to broadcast with objectivity. I firmly believe that to remain relevant and impactful in these rapidly changing times, we must embrace these changes while being rooted. I would like to stress on this, while being rooted in the ethical framework based on which journalists are not only expected but are obligated to work. The special guest and the theme speaker will be addressing us shortly. I believe that with their combined experience from their respective fields, we will be led in on some valuable insights today that we can take back home and ponder upon.
It's my privilege to stand here to speak on the history of the Dimapur Press Club. I'll speak briefly. Going back to the year 1999, we were 4 of us who decided to form the club. It was Originally established in December 1999 as the Press Club of Dimapur, formed by a group of local journalists who recognized the need for a structured organization to address the unique concerns and challenges faced by media professionals in Dimapur. The founding group aimed to create a platform that would uphold press freedom, ethical standards, and journalistic integrity. The club was also envisioned as a space where journalists, reporters, editors, and other media personnel could gather for both professional collaboration and recreational activities, while also advocating for the rights and welfare. In its early years, from December 1999 to October 2002, the club had very few members. However, the founding members worked diligently during this interim period to establish a fully fledged press club. The interim period saw 4 members: late K.D. Haralu as the convener, myself as the convener, late K.D. Haralu as the president, late Eric Macho and Pilato as the secretaries, who worked together to bring in more members to make the club functional. During the interim period, these members even approached the then elected representatives of the state and apprised them about the need of an office for the press club to function. However, things did not materialize. In December 1999, as the new year approached, with the much hyped cake, the members decided to work out some program. And with the association of the Business Owners Association of Dimapur, a New Year program was organized at the Clock Tower, Dimapur, which was attended by thousands of people. By October 2002, as the number of media professionals in Dimapur grew, the club responded by inducting new members and forming its first elected executive council. It was also at this time that the organization officially changed its name to Dimapur Press Club, and the first elected office bearers took charge, with Francis Kikan, who is present here as the president, and Bhadra Gogoi as the general secretary, who is also present today. Since its inception, the club has actively participated in various programs and initiatives focused on the welfare of its members in the community. Beyond its role in media, the club members have contributed to society through participation in humanitarian and community events, especially on occasions such as Republic Day and Independence Day celebration. On this occasion, I would also like to remember those who have left us. During this last 25 years, the club has lost 2 of its founding members, late K.D. Haralu and late Eric Machio, who were president and secretary respectively during the interim period. The club also lost its former information and publicity secretary, Noel Manuel, former president Philip Sumi, and photojournalist Sore Mahon. To remember this departed soul, let us observe a minute of silence. I would like to request everybody to stand up. Thank you. Please be seated. Though all the activities undertaken by Dimapur Press Club cannot be described in detail today, let me highlight a few of its activities which we have undertaken in the last 25 years. The first program, as I've already mentioned, was the New Year Welcome Program, the Millennium Year 2000, in collaboration with BOD. The second most important thing was in the year 2004, where everybody remembers the Dimapur Twin Bomb Blast, where hundreds of people were killed. The members of the press club, they joined the movement started by the Naga Council Dimapur and provided relief to the injured victims of the bomb blast. From 2006 to 2008, the Dimapur Press Club participated in several seminars and workshops in the state as well as outside the state, where members represented the club as speakers or panelists. The club also participated in football exhibition matches during Independence Day, Republic Day celebrations, and it also had an opportunity to have a friendly football match with the members of the Kohima Press Club. From 2008 to 2011, the club participated every year in the Northeast Media Sports Festival organized by Assam Sports Journalists Association, Hadat Guwahati. The club won trophies consecutively for 3 years. In 2011, the DPC also participated in a local tournament, 5-man football tourney, held in Dimapur. In 2015, the club organized JE vaccination camp twice in the year in association with Dimapur Hospitals Guwahati, where all the members received vaccine shots. In the same year, the club also organized eye checkup camp in association with Lions Club of Dimapur and Lions Eye Hospital Jorhat, which benefited many members. From 2015 till 2018, the Press Club organized sports meet for the members of the press fraternity. In 2019, the Dimapur Press Club, in association with Google, organized a training program for the journalists to understand and detect fake news. During the COVID-19 lockdown period, the Dimapur Press Club took the initiative to distribute food grains to the newspaper hawkers in association with District Administration Dimapur. During the same period, the members also actively took part in distribution of face masks to the general public and creating awareness in association with the vernacular daily email. Today, the Dimapur Press Club serves as a central hub for networking and collaboration among journalists in the region. It fosters a supportive environment for sharing ideas, improving reporting standards, and advocating for press rights. Through workshops, seminars, and outreach activities, the club is committed to enhancing journalistic skills, promoting responsible journalism, and supporting the development of well-informed and engaged community in Dimapur and beyond. But unfortunately, the club is still functioning without a permanent office building till today.
I will make this short. I had so many notes in my head, but it's more jumbled up now, more than ever now, looking at the mix of the crowd. But I really am excited, and I'd like to thank the Dimapur Press Club for carrying on the work that they do, all of the work that Mr. Dilip Sharma has just read out. For me, it's something really wonderful to hear of such a vibrant press club existing in my small state of Nagaland. I'm part of the Kohima Press Club, and I know that there is a WhatsApp group that is extremely dynamic. We share a lot of things. I may not participate much, but I see all of it, and it's really lovely, and I assume, and I'm supposing and hoping that Dimapur Press Club has the same kind of camaraderie that the Kohima Press Club has, and I really look forward to all of you to carrying on this battle, this fight, this journey begun by our pioneers like Ms. Mona Lisa Chankija here. Hers is a name that that needs no introduction, and I hope from amongst all of us here, we were just discussing right now, our speaker said, because they know me as so-and-so's wife. And then that's the identity I go by. And Ms. Mona Lisa Chankija says, I'm lucky that way, in a sense that I don't need to say I'm this one's daughter or this one's wife, right? And I hope someday so many of us, our names alone will matter. The work we do alone will matter, and not whose daughter and whose, especially for women, not whose daughter or whose wives we are. But again, thank you for being here. There are a few things about the theme. We spoke about harnessing media vibrancy. We all know that in this country how tough it is now to be journalists. Things may be slightly different in Nagaland because we have our own little ecosystem, but outside in the country, in India, when it comes to media, freedom of the media, the index and the global index is so low now. There are some very fiercely independent media houses who are carrying on this fight for independent, for fact-based journalism, but that is growing smaller and smaller by the day because it is getting so difficult. And so hats off, and all my respect to the bravery and the courage that some of our media houses and some of our journalists have carried on. And I hope in Nagaland we will follow this side of the fact-based journalism and not, be just voices for the government or for, big corporates, thankfully, that I'm not sure because I wish I knew more about the way the media functions in Nagaland. Even though I've been here for a few years, I'm rarely here, I'm traveling a lot, and I've not had much time to communicate and spend time with my colleagues in Kohima. But looking at the newspapers in Nagaland, I see that even though we may have a lot of journalists, sometimes I feel that perhaps we waste a lot of time reporting things that don't need reporting, and perhaps we need to spend more of that time. And in this, I will address our editors, the ones who are leading the newspapers and all of the other broadcasts that we've spoken about, Hornbill TV, Northeast Live, and all of that. Perhaps give your journalists more time to do more engaging, more investigative journalism that really have more impact on our people and will have say in the future and the journey of our people. Perhaps that would be, your role as media, your role as journalists would be far more proven once you do that. And I would really request, I see a lot, like I just skip, right? Because in the newspapers, because there's so much of what has happened, so much is happening in Nagaland, but really, I think 90% of that does not need reporting, does not need space in our newspapers. I think, there's so much more to be done. I just returned from Longwa, and I was there for a few days last week, and there's been some lovely work done by a journalist called Imti Longchar, I think, earlier this year. He had traveled to the Yimchungar side, Noklak side, I think, and Bangti and all of that. He'd done some really lovely stories, and those were so engaging for me because he spoke about people there. He spoke to people, he lived there. His stories were about, there was this ITC Dan border, there was a shop there, and those were so engaging, and I really wish there were more stories like that, and that really depends on your editors and the people running the media houses. So really this request is to let your journalists do more valuable journalism rather than send them here. I see the Dimapur Press Club WhatsApp group every day. There's so many press releases. Please, for publication. Tomorrow we have this, day after we have this. It is a lot for a journalist to do running around here and there, and many of them really do not need a space in our newspapers. That's what I believe in. I don't know, perhaps it's different here, and perhaps a lot of you will take, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult anyone, but I feel that there's so much reporting. So what happened when I was in Longwa last week was that it was filled with the Indian Army, and then when I met the council members, the council chairman told me that we've been having meetings every day because the Indian Army has insisted that we give them a room, a house, where those Nagas, because once with the removal of the free movement regime, Nagaland hasn't agreed to it, Nagas haven't agreed to it, none of the people living along the border, in the India-Myanmar border, has agreed to it, except for one particular state, the state of Manipur, but still, the rest, the larger portion of it has not agreed to this border fencing or for the removal of the FMR. But what is happening in Longwa, which I saw last week, is that the Indian Army has asked for a room to facilitate giving out permits to our Naga brethren who live on the other side. And Longwa, as you know, it's famous, right? And Longwa is really significant to the Naga story, because even though we know that so much of us is in Myanmar and so much of us is in India, when you go and look at the horizon, right, it's just land, it's forest, it's the sky. It doesn't impact you as standing outside the almshouse where it's clearly written Myanmar, India, right? That strikes you. And not just that, there are 200 households that are affected by this line, this imaginary line, including 6 more rooms, the church, the village playground, so all of that. So there's so many of you, you're from Nagaland, you can live there. We should have heard about this, I only heard about this because I chanced to go there last week. But we should be hearing about this in the newspaper saying, the Longwa villagers does not know how to respond to the action, to the activity that's going on just now, right? That is what we should be reporting about, because then perhaps people who are reading it, perhaps those who are making policies, perhaps those who make decisions will sit up and say, we didn't know this was happening, right? Like how do you expect the ARM, the council chairman, and the council to be having bilateral talks with the Indian army, almost, right? Because it's a small village, and and the central team apparently came yesterday, 15th of December, they said, is a meeting with the central team. So is it equal? It's not equal, it's so unequal. So how are we going to hear about it if all of us do not go out there and report about it? So my earnest urge and request to our journalists here and those who are assigning them is, please, let's send them out to do stories that matter, story that will make a difference to our future, story that will help depict us as who we are and not just what is being told about us. That, I'm sorry, because I went to Longwa recently, it's a digression, but I wanted to make this request to most of you because this is what I observe from our newspapers. When it comes to embracing new frontiers, we know the challenge of AI, and AI, generative artificial intelligence, is here to stay. We can't say, we're not going to go into this, that is evil, it is sinful, we cannot talk about AI. Just as the internet took over like a storm, like a tsunami, I was in college when the internet came. I remember waiting in a queue in Lajpat Nagar when I was doing my graduation for the token that would allow me. I think it was 30 rupees for an hour. It started with 50 rupees for an hour. And we would stand because there were just that number of computers. Who would have known that everything is on the tip of our phones now? Not just us, right? Even those who are uneducated, so surprisingly, those who have not learned to read and write still know how to scroll and search the internet. That is the power of the internet. And AI, the internet, we're never going back to the 70s and the 80s that we call the good old days, the Generation X, now it's Gen Z, millennials, and there are so many other words for each 10 years. We can't keep count of it. But AI is here to stay. I work with the Associated Press. It is one of the world's largest and the oldest. We began in 1846, so we are almost 2 centuries old now. My organization is almost 2 centuries old. It began in 1846 during the American and Mexican War, when a group of newspapers decided that, waiting for the postal service, the mailman to come with the news, from the border was taking too much time. So 5 big newspapers got together, paid for their own reporter and their own reports, and that is how the Associated Press was born. We are based in New York, that is our headquarters. We have reporters in 93 countries, I think, 93 countries all over the world. And AP, because we are a legacy media, we are slow to change also because it's a huge organization. We are very slow to change. And it took us a long time to embrace this digital world. But starting 3 or 4 years ago, much slower than many others like the New York Times, who is the leader in digital news and this entire transformation of the news ecosystem, the new one, New York Times is a leader in it. I mean, there is no denying it. AP took long to jump into this new digital media. But after we've done that, we see the challenges that's ahead. News consumption, the habit of news consumption, the way people consume news is changing so rapidly. Newspapers have been closing for the past 2 decades or so. It is continuing to close. We are so fortunate to have newspapers here. I have a dear friend who started the Morung Express, Akul Longchari, and I remember the vision he had for this newspaper, and I see that they are working so hard to fulfill the mission they began with. And it is a matter of great pride to see newspapers like this still flourishing. It is very, very difficult for news organizations like the Morung Express, like Ma'am's Nagaland page. We have vernaculars like Tirgimium, we have Chapi. My father-in-law is a religious follower reader of Chapi. He cannot do without his Chapi newspaper in the morning. So, we do have a vibrant media, journalistic news, gosh, I'm sorry. We do have a vibrant media out there, and my request is really, it is a privilege for me to be here. It is a privilege for me to be calling myself another and to be standing here and talking about one of the world's largest news organization while relating with what the rest of you go through. And I hope if there's something you can learn from what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to share what I see from my organization, hoping, because that is the path everybody else is going to take, right? There is no going back. Everyone has to move forward. It's changing so dynamically. It's so fast that we don't know. We're all afraid of AI. The AP has a contract with the Knight Foundation. We are the leaders in how AI will transform the news business. We are trying to set boundaries and trying to find ways that we can use AI ethically. This began 2 years ago, and we are still in the process. But the thing is, it is here to stay. So I would encourage all our journalists and our media houses to equip yourself to be aware of what AI is, what generative AI is. It can help you, it can help your job. AP is now using generative AI for translations. We have a Spanish service, so whatever interviews we have in English, AI translates them. It's never published without a journalist looking at it, but the work is made much lesser because we use AI. So there are good ways of using AI. The second big challenge we have today is the way we consume news. As I have said before, 2/3 of news is consumed via social media and via, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. These are digitally, not social media, it's consumed digitally. 2/3 of news now is consumed digitally. YouTube has about, YouTube has, I didn't have time to print it out. It looks really bad reading out from a phone. Please excuse me. YouTube has 2.5 billion users. Instagram has 2 billion users. TikTok has 1.7 billion users. The numbers are mind-boggling, and they are only increasing every day. I see a presence of our newspapers and our broadcast channels on social media, and I think we all need to embrace the fact that news consumption is going to go very soon through our phones and our computers. And there is one saying in the AP that we have embraced this year. It's called, "The visual is the story." And when you're scrolling through that, if you're just scrolling through these words, you lose interest. People's attention span is like a minute, less than a minute, 30 seconds. So the sooner, which is why TikTok is so popular. Also, the majority, according to studies done, according to, the generations, right? Gen X, as we are known, millennials, and the Gen Zs, and all of that. You're looking at long-form stories, and there is this big, if you want it, I will share it with you all. There is this chart that says what kind of news they are consuming. Long form, only those who are perhaps above 60s and the 50s are consuming long form, kind of like, like the Caravan, which is wonderful, right? But the kind of users who are reading them is decreasing day by day, because we have a huge young generation who are hopping into this, and unfortunately also, because of this, we have influencers, we have a lot of people who are also becoming journalists, which is good in a way, but that makes our job more difficult, because sometimes it could be half-baked, sometimes the information would not reach fully there, it could be one-sided, which is where we come in more, right? Because we need to go out there and tell the truth, the news, fact-based news as it is, before somebody else spreads this misinformation or half information. So young people are hopping into, it's not all bleak. I make it sound as though it's all so sad, but it's not. I'm going to cut it short, so I'll just tell you that younger generation, study shows that they have such an interest for journalism, that schools for journalism are burgeoning. People are going more and more into journalism, as our Naga friends will say. We don't know whether the structures will be there for them when they are when it's time for them to go out and do their journalistic work. So it depends on you and me to carry on this work for them and to prove that fact-based news lives and is as important and is more important as, more fake news and more disinformation get spread. So all of us in this room, I really want to appeal. I want to thank all of you for your work, and I want to appeal to all of you to please continue the good work that we do. I just want to say one more thing that with the AP, we have seen a growth in our reporting, in our reportage, because of the help of philanthropic organizations. We have, like I said, the Knight Foundation, the Pulitzers, and all of these people granting us fund to report on very important issues like climate change, for example, democracy, religion, and so much of this is being done by grant-funded organizations, philanthropic organizations. There is this. One of our reported a story earlier this year about a philanthropic organization that tried to help smaller news organizations in the US. There's this huge push to revive small news organizations. The AP has done a lot. They have collaborated during the election, during the US elections, with a lot of smaller news organizations. So there was this one grant-funded project that was up, and they were looking for 100 applicants, but the kind of applications they received were so good and so large in number that they had to increase it double by 200. So they had 200 grant-funded applications, which perhaps they are working on just now. I know that the NBOC WWB gives grants to journalists, and I know that that has really impacted the way some of our journalists, I know that because we talk on the WhatsApp, and I have seen the work that these have produced, because even though it's not just about the money, right? It's the work that you're doing. You know that you've received a grant, right? You want to do it justice. You have been given the time by your editors to do that. You can pursue it with passion, and that kind of grant has helped tell bigger stories that we would have never heard about. Otherwise, right? Because nobody's going to think about labor, people on the streets. Oh no, like you have bigger things to report about. Oh, what is this party doing, right? But like these are the stories that we need to know, right? And so grant funded, I want to appeal to all of you that perhaps you look at, I don't know what kind of organizations, but it probably wouldn't take maybe churches, churches who have the money, right? But it has to be independent. Maybe you can start that conversation saying, hey, we need to report on that, but we need this much money, kind of a thing. I don't know how, but there are ways I believe that you can do it, because media houses in Nagaland must be struggling with funding, and it depends on so many, I don't know, I see so many video cameras out there. Perhaps they are going to be streaming this, and if they do, I want to request the people watching, Nagas here, the others, please subscribe to your newspapers, It's not much, but it goes a long way to carry on this journalistic work that only journalists, only trained journalists can do. You're not going to get it from the others who are untrained, right? You have journalists, you come back, you have your editors going through it, you have 2-3 levels where people are actually looking at, the accuracy, the facts, the standards. And so this is also my plea, really. It's difficult to thrive in the ecosystem that we called, right? It's changing so fast, so we need help from everyone, and really churches and everybody else, because I say churches again and again, because all of us give to the church, all of us, education, government, departments. My speaker sir friend here, perhaps you will say, yes, I'm going to do it, right? Perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps there are ways, roads and bridges, perhaps give, grants to say, hey, let's do reporting on this, right? Horticulture, hey, let's see what, the possibilities are endless, and I just want to request all of you to please, let us be each other's pillar. Let us make our reporting stronger. Let us make the future better for the ones who are to come. Thank you very much for this time.
It's a privilege for me to stand before you. And at outset, I would like to bring greetings and congratulate on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Dimapur on this milestone celebration of this Silver Jubilee. I would like to thank, first of all, for your cooperations in various activities. Without your cooperations, the activities that we are doing as a government agencies would have not reached to the grassroots level. But because of your cooperation and the coverage that you have rendered has really impacted the societies, and also whatever the things happening around us has been reached to our grassroots levels and have really enlightened the people of our states in particular, and also the people of our country in general. I would like to thank the pioneers of this press club who has organized. Some may not be here, they may not be alive, but also like congratulate the family members and also those who are alive here. Without their hard works, without their endeavor, this today we would not be celebrating this Silver Jubilee. Taking advantage of this, I would like to request to continue to extend your cooperations to the agencies, to the, I would say, government agencies. I'm standing here as a DC from the governments, and also do the different publics and to give them wide coverage and also keep on updating the citizens that what is happening in our district and also in general in our state. Our team speaker has really spoken well. I would like to say here that it may be wrong on my part, but today, like earlier before starting, I was just jokingly telling that today I'm here to take interview to the press, not interviewing me. So I think I would say the media should, all of us should play a neutral role. We'll have to focus in neutrality. That is one of the most important thing I would like to share with you, and also focusing on developmental activities. Here I would like to say, because why I'm saying is this, earlier when we are students, there was no YouTube or media news channels, there are only newspapers. So whenever we, sometimes we don't get newspapers, sometimes we ask our friends, what is the important news? Whether there is any important news today. So they would say sometimes yes, they are very important news. Sometimes they say there's no important news. So what are the important news that publics are focusing on? So they are saying, if there are no report of any death cases, if there are no report of any violence, the people think that there is no important news. So that is that concept or the conceptualization of the people. So I would like to, because we need to focus on positive aspect also, what I'm thinking. Because see, today as a media, yeah, we all know that we have to enlighten what is happening surrounding us. But there are many things happening. Governments, as a government, there are many developmental works are also going on. There are many activities the government is also taking places in various sectors. I think sometimes, because sometimes media people comes and they say, we don't have anything to report. Something, if you can give us something. So there are many things to report, which if we focus on these activities, because see, at last DBDP meeting, I was just sharing with you these things, we have a presentation by the agri departments. So we were also shocked, in Thaikru village, one person, he's a mushroom cultivator, and he's earning 3,50,000 per month from the mushroom cultivations. I think this kind of activities, if we can highlight to the public domain, I think people will be encouraged, and the final product will be our people economy will also grow. So these are the things which I also wanted to share, and this kind of important things, if we really work on it, I think it will really benefit from the media, because whatever we are doing, like you are the channel to disseminate all these informations to the general public. So it doesn't mean you are not doing, but we are doing, but also just from my side giving you more encouragement so that we can focus on all these activities, and definitely the new entrepreneurs, people who are unemployed, they can also come up and do will be engaged on such kind of activities, and whatever the government facilities they are extending to the unemployed youth. If we can focus on this also, I think it will help our unemployed youth, and also bring our economy, will upgrade our economy. So I won't take much time. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, and also wish the media fraternity in all the best in your future endeavor. Thank you.
You know, nothing in life is permanent. Nobody in life is permanent. And we are here, in a way, to do what we can to the best of our ability. During our lifetime, in our professional capacity, and as a human being. So today, we are celebrating 25 years of the DPC. But just to remind you that our first paper actually started in 1932, of Milan. But in that same year, there was also a newspaper started at Kohima. I don't remember the name, but we can't say for sure which started earlier. I mean, which was it, the Aumilan or the Kohima one? Because we don't have the documents, the dates. So it's as old as that. And today, I would like to remind us that we are here because of those people who started in 1932. Okay? Now, 25 years hence, 50 years hence, 100 years hence, I would like young people to sit in this auditorium or elsewhere and say that we are here today because in 2024, these people did this. So basically life is a relay race. So it doesn't matter, today there will be papers, tomorrow they will be gone. Journalists will come, journalists will go. So also with television channels, whatever. Technology will change. It has changed a lot, and it will keep on changing. So right now we may be into TikTok and whatever, but tomorrow they will be outdated. But the institution of the media, the fourth estate, will remain. And it will remain only if people like you and I now make sure that it remains. In any democracy, there's the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, and the fourth estate, the media, the press. This constitutes the foundation of a democracy. Today, we don't even know whether democracy will be there for us or not. And it will not be there for us if we don't guard it, if we don't fight for it, if we don't nurture it, and if we don't strengthen it. So, it is our job. It is our job to do that. So let's not get sidetracked by the number of newspapers and television channels and the YouTube and the TikTok and the X's and the Y's and the Z's. The core issue of protecting the institution of the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, and the fourth estate. That is our main job. And that, in other words, means by protecting our democracy. Okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that You know, you have heard of what they call judicial activism. What is the press club in Nagaland, Dimapur, Mokokchung, Kohima? It's basically journalism activism. And I'm really proud of all of you, and I encourage you to carry on, because without journalism activism, you know, the press will be, you know, the press will corrode, and we don't want that to happen. So congratulations once again. I'm very happy, and let's look forward. Let's work together, and let's, you know, put fuel to the fire of journalism activism. Then finally, this is really not the right time and the place. But then if we don't make the right time and the right place, even the wrong ones, if we don't make them right, things don't happen. And since the TPC has submitted a memorandum to the Chief Minister through the good offices and the person of the Speaker today, I also just wanted to take the opportunity, and through the same good office, the same good person, I also wanted to send a message to the government of Nagaland, to the Chief Minister, and that the advertisement rates of government, government advertisement rates have not been changed or enhanced since 2011. And I think that is a crying shame considering the economic situation and the inflation. And I am told, well, at least I read in the papers, that it's going to get worse. So I hope our Speaker sir will do the needful. And so I'm so sorry I've taken so much time. Thank you once again for the time. And congratulations, DPC. Thank you.
We have certain things or demands which want addressed by the government. So it is addressed to the Chief Minister through the esteemed office of the Honorable Speaker. So kindly bear with me. I will take a couple of minutes. I'll read this out before I hand it over to the Speaker to be forwarded to the Chief Minister. So it's a memorandum from the Dimapur Press Club. It's dated today, the 16th of December 2024. So it's a memorandum to address to the Chief Minister, Shri Nephew Ryo, through the office of the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Shri Sharingai Langkamer. Subject: request from the Dimapur Press Club on the occasion of its Silver Jubilee. Respected Sir, on the occasion of the Silver Jubilee of the Dimapur Press Club, we would like to place before you a few urgent matters affecting the journalist community in Dimapur and Nagaland. We request your kind consideration and support on the following issues. Point 1. Permanent office building. Despite having served for 25 years, the Dimapur Press Club still does not have a permanent office. We request the allocation of a permanent office building for the Dimapur Press Club. This would greatly assist us in conducting our daily activities and meetings in a stable and dedicated space. Number 2. Pension scheme for journalists. We urge you to expedite the implementation of the pension scheme for journalists. Timely action on this matter would provide financial security to those who have devoted their careers to the profession. Enhancement of operational subsidy. We request an increase in the operational subsidy provided to accredited journalists. Currently, the monthly subsidy is Rs 4,000 for those accredited under 5 years and Rs 6,000 for those accredited above 5 years. An enhanced subsidy would help meet rising costs and better support for journalist work. Point number 6. Increasing accreditation slots. We request you to consider raising the number of accredited journalists allowed per media house. The current limit is 6 per media house, which restricts proper representation and coverage. Distinction between, and this, I want to stress on this, we would like to urge the government to make a distinction between journalists and social media influencers. We request the government to establish a clear distinction between journalists and social media influencers, ensuring that journalistic integrity and standards are upheld. We trust that you will consider this request and take steps to address them. We believe that your support will contribute to a stronger press community in Nagaland, ultimately strengthening our democracy and ensuring better access to information. Thank you. It's signed by myself, Inkong Waling, the President, Dilip Sharma, co-convener of the TBC Silver Jubilee Organizing Committee, and the General Secretary, Abang Jungla. Thank you.
I really want to congratulate the Dimapur Press Club on this momentous 25 years. It's a big day to celebrate. We have a lot of seasoned reporters, editors amongst us who have contributed so much to the progress of the state, the society. In the last 25 years, where were we and where we are now, in that gap, many things have happened. And so I'm privileged and honored, especially to the organizing committee led by Dilip Ji, for inviting me. And that gesture is truly appreciated, because I'm made to understand that the fraternity has not forgotten me. I was once a part of the same fraternity, and I remain truly yours till date. And today, on this momentous occasion of 25 years of the Dimapur Press Club, I want to encourage each and every one here today that whatever and whichever news or story that you cover, over the last 5 years I've learned something like this. There are no two sides to it. But I believe there is a third side to it. And the third side is your opinion. Where you give your opinion and how you give your opinion, it comes with a lot of significance, I must say. There are a lot of readers, there are a lot of listeners who are not aware of which side they should project their opinion. And there lies the opinion that you share. And so, over the last 25 years, Nagaland as a state and as a society, we have progressed. Yes, there are things where we could not collectively achieve, but there are many things where we could all collectively achieve together. Some of the senior editors that are here today have been very vocal about women empowerment. Today, on the 16th year of Nagaland Assembly, we have 2 women elected members in the 14th House. Isn't that an achievement? We have seniors who have voiced out on issues concerning many of our people. Voices were not heard. It may be with regard to human rights, it may be with regard to disabilities, here today, on the 60th year of Nagaland Assembly, we have made tremendous achievement in all those sectors. And so, what I'm trying to share with all of you is that what our seniors and what our, seniors and founding members did in the starting of this journey of 25 years is slowly, surely, and in a very steadfast way giving results today. The theme which we have decided for ourselves on this 25th year is embracing new frontiers. On that, I would like to take a few moments. I agree with our team speaker for today, Madam Yermio, on the expansive and unlimited potentials that exist when it comes to press and media and journalism in this 21st century, and with the modern tools that are coming along the way. But may I remind you, before we start discussing about embracing new frontiers, I would just like to pose a question for all of us. And that simple question is, are we proud of where we are? Are you proud of what you have achieved in the last 25 years as a journalist, as a reporter, as a senior editor? Sincerely, I ask this question. Are we proud of where we are? And that, my friends, is something which we need to ponder and give a lot of deliberation and thought to before we embrace new frontiers. Because to take the next step forward, we really need to be assured where we are standing. Today, I must say that Nagaland as a state has grown. We have just celebrated 60 years of the Nagaland Assembly. And today here we are celebrating 25 years of the fourth pillar of democracy, as rightly pointed out by Onanisa. How we nurture this evolution of parliamentary democracy in all forms. How our fraternity can fill that gap where we find shadows among shadows in the corridors of power. Who will voice it out? Who will point it out? But before pointing it out, how it is going to be pointed out and how it is going to be relayed is what is most important. Today, I'm amongst, I must say, amidst great minds, the intelligentsia of our society, who have captivated public opinion for so many years, who have spent a lot of time, endless midnights, in preparing their editorials, a reflection of which I have earlier spoken, that we have 2 women elected members amongst us in this 14th August House. And many achievements which we have done together. Today, as we go through the newspapers, there are a lot of conventions and practices which we must evolve from, or rather evolve out from. For example, if there is an official program of a government department launching a new scheme or a certain facility being inaugurated, for the last 5 years as I've been in the chair, I would see the caption that Honorable so and so has inaugurated this facility. That's it. Can we take a moment to go beyond that facility and what that facility will do for our people and how that facility came into being? I think that would be a better perspective to our people. We have to grow out of that. We have to grow out of that conventions and general practices which we have been doing. If we are to embrace new frontiers. New frontiers comes with a lot of responsibility. For example, let me just relay a small experience which I have just had last month, I believe. As the Speaker of the Assembly, I get the opportunity to travel once in a year for our Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. This time I got an opportunity to visit Australia and New Zealand. We had a very successful conference, and I was very honored to lead the Indian delegation in one of the discussions. And there, we had discussed a lot on the use of social media and the use of mobile phones, about the prevalency among minors. And so we had contemplated on coming up with legislation and how it has been impacting the young minds, the irrationality it creates among the minors. For sure, the first week of December, after the conference, Australian government had passed a legislation to that effect. And now I don't know how many of you can connect with it, but if you go home and if you see your nieces and nephews who are 7-year-old, 8-year-old, maximum 80% of them are fiddling with the mobile phones handed down by their parents or by your siblings, because you have so many things to do that you want to keep your niece, nephew, or your child distracted for a moment. It's not good. Because you're handing him something which you yourself are not 100% aware about. And that instance, you're igniting something which will not come back to form. And so these are social matters which needs concern of all of us. And I urge upon our fraternity to raise such issues among the leadership across that we have together, so that we are collectively taking up social responsibilities. I'm informed that the Senate in the American House is contemplating on preparing policies to put across the company to enforce not to sell the mobile phones or any such gadgets that the minors can use themselves. That there has to be some limitation. And so, as rightly pointed out by our team speaker, in a world where artificial intelligence is there to stay, and in one way, we have to embrace that to excel in our profession, to excel in our reporting. That is one aspect of it. On the other aspect of it, responsible use of all those technology at our disposal, I think is very important. So I would suggest, instead of handling the mobile phone, you should hand your kid or your niece and nephew a book. That would be better. That is a small narration which I wanted to share with you, because when we are embracing new frontiers, we have to really understand the direction that we are proceeding in, and the challenges and the difficulties we may come across. And in such a diverse society and community that we are living amongst, the challenges are great. And challenges are, in fact, very immense. And so, what you say and what you write, remember, there are thousands going through your opinion. And what you write is going to shape that opinion. And so, as the fourth pillar of democracy, let us be steadfast in the journalistic ethics and principles. I must express my gratitude once again to the excuse me, Dimapur Press Club for having the confidence in me and my office to deliver this list of memorandum to the government. In fact, to our most honorable Chief Minister. I will make that submission along with my own letter to the honorable Chief Minister, and I hope that the government will take priority on the memorandums that you have submitted. In fact, as a member of our fraternity, in my discussions with Honorable Advisor of Industries and Commerce some months ago, I had mentioned to her that the print media fraternity is the only existing something of an industry, so you must encourage in form of power subsidy, in form of any form of this, because I have had the privilege of working with all of you. I've learned from all of you. I'm still learning. And so it was my duty to inform that to the Honorable Advisor, Srimati Iplani, as the Industries and Commerce. There is not many things that we should do anew. Yes, there are certain things which is required, which needs focus, but we must emphasize on things which are already in our hands. In that way, the press media fraternity is one that has stood very bravely facing a lot of difficulties. I know I have had my own share of traveling with all my seniors up to Kohima, up to the Labour Commissioner's office, down in a lot of meetings. And so, on this 25th year of existence of the Dimapur Press Club, I urge the Dimapur Press Club to continue to be the torchbearer of ethical journalism. To embrace new frontiers, we must acknowledge where we are at the moment. We have many things which we could not achieve. And that is for all of us to see. As a state, as a community, as a family, there are many challenges and many things which we could not achieve. But there are a few things which we did together. And I think those achievements we must cherish if we are to embrace and take on new frontiers. Because being divided, we will not be able to achieve anything. But if we are united, and if we are corresponding to one another's initiative, and I think that's the way to go about it.
I, on behalf of Dimapur Press Club, would like to extend our deepest gratitude and heartfelt appreciation to all the dignitaries, special invitees, well-wishers, and all the members for the grand success of our 25th Silver Jubilee celebration. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to our theme speaker, Irmiam Arthur Yome, our special guest, Honorable Speaker, Sharikan Longmar, and all those who took part in the program, making it a grand success. I personally would like to acknowledge our Jubilee convener, Sir Dilip Sharma, and President Lim Kong Walim for the invaluable services rendered towards our club. I would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to Dimapur Government College for allotting the hall to us, and the IPR for the sound system, Kohima Press Club for coming all the way to attend our program, and all the Digital Media House for your wonderful cooperation. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks and appreciation to all the members who have worked tirelessly for making our program a grand success. Long live Dimapur Press Club. Thank you all.